Hello everyone, I welcome you to this series of Standard 8 Chapter 5 Fuel, Combustion and Flame. So we have already completed part 1 and part 2 of this series. If you have not watched it yet, I urge you to please watch it part 1 and part 2 in detail, try to understand it. If you have any doubt, comment me. So let's start this one, part 3. So here what we have covered is uh, we have covered classification of fuel here on the basis of their physical state and on the basis of their occurrence. This one we have covered classification of fuel. Then also we covered calorific values. What is calorific value? And then the smokeless chula and traditional chula, their advantages, disadvantages, all these things we completed. Then we covered ignition temperature. Then the properties of a good fuel. LPG, what is it? Liquefied petroleum gas, we have covered. Fossil fuel, then different types of fossil fuel like coal, coke, all these things we have covered. Then fractional distillation, that is the extraction of this gas, lubricating oil, kerosene, petrol from the crude oil. Natural gas and petroleum also we have covered. Then we saw some of the products, boiling point and their uses. This kerosene, it used in jet engine. I told this is important. Then we talk about burning of coal and diesel, then global warming. Here, this acid rain, this concept is important. Global warming we talked about. So today, uh, we are going to start combustion. In the previous video, we have completed till this part 2. I also urge student again that if you have not watched part 1 and part 2 of the series, please watch it. So combustion, let's start it. So what is combustion? The process of burning of fuel to produce heat and light is known as combustion. So when we need to burn fuel for the desired one, suppose you are riding bike or scooty or car or whatever it is, you are moving in bus. So it uses petrol or it uses diesel. Inside the engine it burns. It burns and gives us energy. So when something is burned, usually fuel burns, it gives up energy in two forms. One is heat, one is light. We choose another color here. That would be better. So when you burn fuel, we get heat as well as we get light. So the materials which burn are called combustible material. Okay, the material that burns are known as combustible material. Some of the examples are paper, wood, petrol. As you can see, all these things they can burn. Substances that do not burn easily are called non-combustible material. Now see here, one thing you need to understand that these substances will also burn, but not easily. Burn means they will not burn as paper, wood and all these things will burn. They will melt. They will change their state after being heated. So iron, glass, etc. The air or oxygen which helps in burning is called support of combustion, and chemical reaction which takes place with the release of energy is called combustion. So combustion is a chemical reaction. For any combustion we need air, especially oxygen. The symbol of oxygen gas is O2. Okay, this is the symbol of oxygen gas. Without the presence of oxygen gas, it is not possible that something will burn. Hydrogen is the gas that burns itself and produces a huge amount of heat. Oxygen is the gas that helps in burning. Okay. If in a chamber, if oxygen is not there, and if you try to burn something, it will not burn. So there is some activity to demonstrate the process of combustion. So some material, a piece of magnesium ribbon, charcoal, matchstick, a pair of tongs and a strip, lamp. You know, how to burn something. You can take the material. Okay. Heat the magnesium ribbon, charcoal, and mastic separately by holding with a pair of tongue. You take different two, three different substances and heat them. So observe that on heating, these substances burn, produce heat and light. So it is not necessary that you need to take magnesium ribbon, charcoal, mastic is required. However, so these two, except these two, you can take any other. Suppose you take a piece of wood or a piece of paper and you try to burn it. Okay, so when something burns, it produces heat and light. So the combustion is a process of they combine with oxygen from the air and from respective oxide. That's oxide. What is the meaning of oxide? Oxide or oxidation is addition of oxygen. When something is burning, suppose you take a piece of wood. Suppose this is a piece of wood, you try to burn it. So oxygen from the surrounding will help the piece of wood to burn. How it will help? The oxygen will be added with the wood, with the gas that is coming out from it. Because this wood, it is not containing oxygen, it contains carbon. When we know that if we burn something, we get carbon dioxide gas. So from where this oxygen is coming? Oxygen is coming from the surrounding. Okay, so combustion can also take place in absence of oxygen. For example, sodium can burn in the atmosphere of chlorine. Okay, now this one combustion can take place in absence of oxygen. It is applicable for certain specific substances, whereas the combustion that takes place in the presence of oxygen, it is general one. Okay, so sodium can burn in atmosphere of chlorine. It is called non-combustible substances. So wood, paper, coal, hydrogen, LPG, CNG, petrol, kerosene, all these are combustible substances. So combustible substances means the substance that can burn in the presence of oxygen, that cannot burn in the presence of oxygen. Now, what are the types of combustible substances? It is divided in the types of combustion. It is divided into three types: rapid combustion, you know the meaning of rapid, spontaneous combustion, and explosion. So let's see what are the difference between these three. Rapid combustion: when the gas burns rapidly and produce heat and light. Rapidly it is burned means fast it is burning. For example, your LPG gas. Okay, it burns rapidly. Okay, and it also gives you heat and light. Spontaneous combustion: when materials suddenly burst into flame without application of apparent cause. When something bursts and flame is created, okay, that is called spontaneous combustion. Explosion: when mixture of combustible material and air completely burns in short period of time in a closed space to produce large amount of sound, light and heat. So explosion means like the cracker, it explodes. It is very small in size, it explodes. It covers a very large volume after being exploded. So it forms large amount of sound, light and heat energy. So these three are important. How do we control fire? In cities, we call fire brigade to extinguish fire, but we should also have fire extinguisher. So this is fire extinguisher. We should always keep it with our home because accident never come with invitation. Okay. So if we keep it at our home, it is for our safety only. Okay, so here compressed gas is present, especially carbon dioxide gas is present here. So when you keep it on from here, from this nozzle, this gas will come out and it will cover the space so that oxygen, it will be void. It will not allow oxygen to have a contact with the flame so that the flame will douse in certain period of time. The fire extinguisher helps cutting off the supply of air as I told you. So the fire is extinguished. That means suppose this is fire. Okay. How it is burning? In the help by the help of oxygen. So this fire extinguisher, when you apply here, it applies a cover over here. And here through this cover oxygen gas cannot pass. So after certain time, whatever the oxygen present inside the cover, it is completed. It has helped the fire. Now it needs more oxygen to burn, but it is not getting oxygen from the surrounding because we have a protective layer now. So after certain time, it will douse itself. This is how it works. Characteristics of combustion. Combustion is a chemical reaction in which fuel reacts with oxygen to prepare heat, release, and energy. Okay. A small piece of combustible material catches fire more easily compared to a large piece of metal. Suppose this is a large piece of wood, these are the small piece. So it will take less time compared to this one. Okay. Necessary conditions necessary for combustion. What are the conditions necessary for combustion? First one is air. We saw that air is necessary for combustion. If you light a candle and cover with a glass jar, suppose here we are lighting a candle, it is burning. Now, if you cover with a gas, with a jar, a transparent jar, after certain time you can see that the flame will douse itself. That means it has used the air which is present inside the jar and it is not getting oxygen anymore. Okay. So that is why air is needed, especially oxygen is needed. Even if air is present but inside the air oxygen is not present, it will not burn anymore. So oxygen is primarily needed. This happens because no air is available for combustion. Okay. So ignition temperature, you know that this is we have already talked about. It is the temperature, minimum temperature at which a particular substance burn in the presence of air. Okay. For different substances, the value of ignition temperature will vary, but it is the minimum temperature at which any substance start burning in the presence of oxygen, or particularly in the presence of oxygen. Now, next one is if ignition temperature is lower than the room temperature. Suppose right now you are in a room and your room temperature is, let's say, 25 degrees centigrade. Okay, you have a substance. You have a substance X. Its ignition temperature is suppose 20 degrees centigrade. So it will start burning itself because it is getting much more amount of energy to burn itself. See the temperature difference. Your room temperature is 5 degree more than that of this substance ignition temperature. So it will start burning itself. That is why you need to keep in some other medium. That is why sodium is kept inside kerosene. Okay. If ignition temperature is lower than the room temperature, then combustion occurs without heating. This is called spontaneous combustion. Okay. And also we talked about spontaneous combustion. Okay, spontaneous combustion. It suddenly start burning. Okay. If combustion takes place very slowly, if combustion takes place very slowly and at low temperature, it is called slow combustion. Respiration. What we are respiring, like we're inhaling and exhaling. This is also a combustion process. It is a very slow process, and it happens at very low temperature. So respiration is a special combustion reaction at our body temperature. So we are respiring. So for each and every single second, the combustion is happening inside our body. So food. Suppose we eat something, the food is being we chew something and we swallow it. It moves to our stomach. From there, it is getting digested and go to small intestine. Then the micronutrient particles are being extracted and it moves to the cell. Now the cell wants to get energy out of it, so it needs oxygen. Now when we inhale, our lungs separate oxygen and hemoglobin present in our blood carry the oxygen into the cell. And we'll see the process of diffusion, the exchange of oxygen takes place. Then now our body part different cells, they are having required nutrient, nuclear macronutrient and oxygen. Now they burn it and extract energy out of it. Okay. So Now, in this process, it produces carbon dioxide, water, and energy. Okay. Now, the activity. Okay, to study spontaneous combustion and slow combustion, what is it? This is you take a nail. Okay, nail become after a certain time it become rusted. So material process dry place in a china dish. We can find that it catch fire without being heated. This is called spontaneous combustion. Disadvantages of incomplete combustion. What are the disadvantages of incomplete combustion? Say the combustion is not complete, it is incomplete. Common fuel contain large percentage of carbon due to incomplete combustion. Okay, yeah, a little bit. Uh, yeah. Common fuel contain large percentage of carbon due to incomplete combustion. What is the primary reason of incomplete combustion? Suppose we know that carbon dioxide formula is CO2. That means one carbon atom needs two carbon atom to get completely burned. Okay. Suppose we have 100 number of carbon mole atom and we have 100 number of oxygen. This is 100 number and this is oxygen atom. So 50 carbon atom will combine with 100 oxygen atom. Now we have more 50 carbon atom which is not getting combined. So this is called incomplete combustion. During incomplete combustion, the unburned carbon, this is the unburned carbon, passes into the atmosphere in the form of soot. This pollutes the atmosphere and the carbon dioxide, the incomplete carbon, it is much more poisonous, much more harmful than carbon dioxide. Okay. During incomplete combustion, carbon monoxide and sulfur dioxide are formed. As you know that see, the carbon dioxide, suppose this is the case of complete combustion, it will form carbon dioxide, then during the process of photosynthesis, plant is going to use it and again convert it into oxygen. Now about this incomplete carbon, with these particles, plant cannot do anything about it. Okay. That is why incomplete combustion is very, very dangerous. And also in the process of incomplete combustion, carbon monoxide means CO, one of a very poisonous gas. Mono means one. We have one carbon, one oxygen. Carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide are formed. Okay. The gases are highly poisonous, as I told you. During the incomplete combustion, the gases produced are highly, very poisonous. Okay. So this is all about today's class. In the next class, we are going to talk about flame. So in today's class, if you have any doubt, please ask me, comment me in the comment section, or you can directly ask me. So thank you everyone and have a nice day.